A farmer, an agronomist, an entrepreneur, and a Saskatchewan farmland realtor walk into an AI cohort. The farmer, Joe Larre, goes first because we know that he's a quick start. He says, I want to be able to afford all of the John Deere in the world forever. No holds bars. And the AI says, well, that's a wonderful idea, Joe. Nobody can afford that. But what I can do is help you negotiate the best deal every time because I know who you are, what your goals are, and exactly what your finances look like. Then the entrepreneur, Chris Nykolaishen, he says, I want to be the perfect boss. Because we know Chris is a bit of a peacemaker. I want everybody to love me all of the time. I want my whole team getting along and happy forever. And the AI says, Chris, that's a wonderful idea. And I can tell you genuinely care about your people, but I can't do that. But what I can do is run a personal operating diagnostic for every one of your staff so you know how to work with them and they know how to work with each other. Then the agronomist, Robert Woolf, says, Mr. AI, I want you to give my clients a bumper crop every single time, every single year. And the AI says, Robert, I can't do that either, but I can connect you to every piece of data you got and help you make a much better call for all of your clients. And then Tim Hammond walks in, Saskatchewan farmland realtor. Tim says, Mr. AI, I want you to make Saskatchewan farmland worth $1 million a quarter. And the AI says, Tim, that is the first reasonable request I have had all day. I made that joke myself. It's not even AI, folks. Well, welcome to Growing the Future Productions Live. This is what AI changed for them, not me. But my name is Dan Aberhart. I run growingthefuture.ca. We are Canadian agriculture's foremost live briefing platform and Western Canadian agriculture's foremost AI co-creating platform. I'm calling it now because we got a bunch of co-creators on board. Today, I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to let four of my co-creators show you. We are live on YouTube, so you can drop a comment there. Like and subscribe and get notified for future events and share this with somebody who needs AI in their life. And I have a question for all of you. What would you like AI to do for you in your life? Put it in the chat. I can see the chat. I can see the Q&A. This is all about what you want to know. So what would you like AI to do for you that maybe you're not sure if it can do or not? Go ahead and put it in the chat. I want to see all the lovely folks out there. And we've got a really good audience here today. So if you liked my little joke there, well, there's a pile of things that AI can't do, but I'd argue it can do virtually everything in the virtual world that a person can do. And if you're not doing work with it, it's like somebody keeping the books by hand on paper ledger, which is great, beautiful penmanship, but we have technology for that now. Let me tell you how this came to be. Quick context. 60 days ago, middle of May, I got the signal from my own fleet of agents. I run about 40 of them now. They do my emails, my website, my pricing. They coach my team. They make a lot of decisions with me, some days for me. 60 days ago, my fleet told me to launch this business because three separate high-value people in my life had told me I should show them what I'm doing with AI. And 45 days ago, I built this course and I launched it with the fleet's help. And I brought 12 people into the cohorts. I don't want to call them students. I want to call them co-creators because of what we're going to build together. And everything starts in the same place. So you get a personality assessment that I cover for you. It gets written into a personal operating diagnostic. Some of my co-creators here today are starting to do that for their teams. Who you are, how you're wired. Elaine, imagine using this technology for helping farm families in transition or with conflict, knowing who they are, how they're wired according to AI. And that translates into everything else in your life. This is something we can transpose across the different disciplines, personally and professionally. So you get your second brain that knows who you are, what your business is, what you're trying to do. You get 3 agents custom built for you, loaded with the hard lessons that I've learned and baked into the cake to a little bit of a doctrine. So on day one, with 12 folks showing up, with 3 agents, which we'll talk about today, customized for them, guess what? We had 36 use cases the first day. Yesterday, I was on a call with somebody who said, "How do I use this, Dan? What will I have enough use cases?" Well, folks, we got use cases coming out of our yin yang here. It's no joke. And let me tell you, with much due love and respect, it has always been man plus tool versus man plus tool. It used to be on the battlefield. Now it's in the marketplace, which is much friendlier. I prefer. But think about a man plus fire, man plus wrench, man plus AI. And if some of us don't like that reality, I mean, we can go and post about it on social media. But I see the people who want to build things that provide value to society are embracing this, and it is not going away, whatever you feel about it. And there's so much opportunity. I see it in this room. So we want to talk about it. Women in ag using AI too. Absolutely, Elaine. We use PSI to do personality assessments. Well, you can certainly take it to the next level. And Chris is already doing it in his business. He told me this week. So if you're interested in Cohort 2, I know I've given a super hard pitch here. I'm not going to lie, but I want this for everybody. I'm very passionate about this. It's very much become my purpose and my passion. And you'll find out why when I start talking here, 7 minutes in. With no further ado, let's start going around the room. I'm putting some resources into the chat for you folks if you want to know more about what we're doing here. 1 minute each. Let's hear from our fantastic co-creators in Growing the Future operating system. Let's start with Robert, who wanted to have bumper crops for his clients every single year. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're running and what your business is all about, Robert.
Hey, yeah, thanks, Dan. What an amazing opportunity that this has been. And I'll get into that a little bit later. But right now, just to introduce myself, I farmed for 16 years, got to the point where I had to restart or change careers. So at that point, I changed careers. I went to work for a John Deere dealership, worked there for 22 and a half years, different roles, started an agronomy portion to that company. And after a few years, decided that, it's time for me to step away from the corporate world and basically retire. So I lasted a month and had to find something else to do. So I started an agronomy business. And for the last 12 years, that's what I've been doing. I started with AgriTrend. They mentored me, great friends through that organization. After 4 years, I started my own totally independent agronomy business, challenged my CCA, got it. And I've been working with farmers, and it's been my passion for the last 67 years of my life is agriculture. And I love it. And I look forward to passing that information on to others.
Oh, that warms my heart. And we've got some great stories to tell. Guess what I put on today, man, was my AgriTrend shirt, which this shirt has lasted me through all kinds of stuff. It's still one of my greatest shirts I love putting on. And I just thought it was somehow fitting today. I feel like what we're doing here is in the spirit of those folks that, co-created together. We have a farmer on the call who wanted nothing but John Deere, and I took that liberty. Joe, I actually don't know what you run. So, but you can tell us about you and your operation, and it's heartwarming. Your wife is in the cohort too. And so you guys are, getting to do a little bit of marriage counseling with your personal operating diagnostics, maybe.
A lot of marriage counseling. Thanks for having me, Dan. So we farm in the St. Walburg area of Northwest Saskatchewan. We seed about 6,000 acres. We have a Pioneer seed business and a Covers and Co seed business. And I guess the reason that I wanted to come to this course is everything kind of is in my head all the time and not really in anybody else's. And I've been told I'm a poor communicator when it comes to stuff like that. So using this to kind of as a journal right now and it's just kind of pulling all our thoughts together. So it's actually been really a neat experience for me. I think it drives everybody around here crazy because they get a new request to do this report every day, and they just roll their eyes at me.
Well, month 3 will be, transposing this across your team. No worries. And we'll get everybody converted. Don't you worry. But we'll get more into the reason behind you coming into the course shortly. Thanks so much, Joe. It's exciting to have you and your wife and your whole farm involved in this. Chris Nykolaishen, entrepreneur after my heart. If you haven't heard the Nykolaishen name in Western Canadian agriculture, where have you been? What rock have you been under? They've done a lot. They've built a lot. Exceptional people, neighbors. Chris, tell us a little bit about what you're building. You're very excited about what you're building, and we're helping you build it.
Yeah, so my company is Nitride Corp, and we're the Canadian distributor for Green Lightning. Green Lightning makes plasma activated water, which is a nitrogen source. And it's really uncharted territory that we're going into. It's a new and innovative technology that really hasn't been used up until the last couple of years. So it's just been a relentless pursuit of getting more data and research. And my biggest reason for joining this cohort was to give myself tools to get what's out of my head onto paper and distribute it amongst the team. Because we're scaling, and I can't be the biggest bottleneck.
Love it. No, and you're doing a great job of that. I was really excited about what you're building on the one-on-one, and we'll get more into your motivations here and what you're building shortly. Tim, oh, it's been fun collaborating with you, my friend, and I'm so glad that you came in this. You have such a passion for what we're doing here. Tell us about your business and your background before we get into some of your business challenges.
Sure.
Let's say.
Yeah, absolutely. So our business is a farmland real estate business. So we specialize in Saskatchewan agricultural real estate. We have 11 agents that work with us. I'd like to call them ag experts because that's what they are. Kind of across the province, we have somebody in every nook and corner basically, and then we have an amazing team of support staff kind of in our office. So there's about 13 of us, I think, in total. I've been in this for 25 years now on a private basis. Prior to starting in 2002, though, I came out of the University of Saskatchewan with a degree in agricultural economics, and I worked with Farm Credit Canada for 11 years. And so prior to getting into this, that's where I got my start. And so it was in lending and then debt settlement, and then more debt settlement, and then more debt settlement. And then out of that, I ended up with this amazing capability because we had to manage that farmland portfolio and lease it and sell it and value it. And we did that. And in 8 years, we got rid of it. So that's what launched me into our business. It's my passion. I absolutely love it. So, and what we're building towards is Western Canada, right? Looking beyond the Saskatchewan borders into Manitoba, Alberta, BC. And how do we do that, right? The other thing that we're working towards is changing our business model and moving more from the realtor listed to the advisor. Let's be strategic about that. And so it's a slow process, but we've made lots of ground, and that's where we're headed. So that's me, myself, and my team, Dan.
And your portfolio got a little bit larger recently, I heard.
Yeah, we kind of tripled our portfolio in a day there back at the end of June. So we've got 3 years of work ahead of us, but hopefully we can do it in 6 months. And that's part of this, is to look for ways to streamline, right? Let's solve problems. Let's get creative about it. And we're already leveraging that.
Well, and that's what's really exciting about what we're doing is helping you build those kinds of things. And folks, this is a third of our current cohort. So take a look at the people on this panel. Who do you want to surround yourself with? What do you think of these? How would you like to rub shoulders with these people for 90 days and learn from them and share your ideas in a safe place? And who are you? I'd like to know a little bit more about you. And I think people eliminate themselves from the eligibility in their mind about doing what we're doing, Tim, because they might say, oh, I'm just, I'm not that big of a farmer, or I'm just a company of one. But I see it being, a dream come true for companies of one to scale it, whether you have a big team or not. But let's go around the horn again. Let's drill down a little bit more. Thanks for sharing who you are with me. And I want to address all those different areas. But Robert, can you get a little bit into why you joined the cohort? Specifically, what business problems, it could be personal too, but what business professional problems were you trying to solve when you entered the cohort? What was in your mind?
Well, first off, I'm not going to disclose any of my personal stuff.
And your agents are trained not to share anything confidential on the front stage as well on day one in the Bible of the agents. Yeah.
Okay. So the reason I wanted to do this is because I have over 60 harvests in my background, and I have 12 years of walking fields as an agronomist. And where does it live? I've got all kinds of files all over the place. I need to organize it. And the main reason I want to do this and get it organized is so that I can start mentoring younger agronomists that want to get into an independent business on their own instead of a retailer, and show them how it can be done so that they don't have to trip over all the mistakes and step on rates that I did when I started. And I had some good mentors and it helped me, but there's room for that. Like, there is an unbelievable opportunity for young agronomists to make a big difference in the world. And I wanted to be part of that and be able to share what the knowledge I have in my head.
Well, and we're working on that. And to that note, I talked to a 28-year-old agronomist yesterday who said she is terrified of AI and she has not started. So I think you are a great inspiration. You have a lot to share with the next generation, just like AgriTrend did in the beginning. Joe, what business problems were you trying to solve?
So I think I was much the same as Robert. So the way it kind of works here is everything kind of is in my head, and then when people quiz me, I eventually tell them, and I need to get what's in my head out of my head into my wife and my son, and we have another girl working for us selling seed, and then we have a 16-year-old too. And yeah, I just need to communicate kind of what the plan is to everybody, and I need to document it. And why I love this is you just talk to it now, and you can just say, can you give everyone a report like what's going through your head right now, and it's there forever. And that's the part I really liked, and I think some of them are starting to enjoy it now. But yeah, I just
Politely.
really
You
need.
always talk to the machine politely, right, Joe? You never swear
Yeah,
at
we
it.
talked about that yesterday. Yeah, I think it's kind of a counseling thing too, because you can say what you want.
It's true. It's true. I was thinking as you're talking of the $50 billion of wealth that has to transfer in the next 10 years, some of which is our family farm. You know, you're at least 50 million of that, Joe, that has to hand down to the next generation. But this is part, getting on the transition train with technology is part of that whole concept, right?
Yeah, absolutely it is. And it's just so what we're doing right now is everyone's kind of reporting back every day what they're doing. So we're trying to build job descriptions out of this. And I think after every month, I've instructed it to run, and we'll just keep refining the job descriptions for everybody. And I think that's really the neat part, because I'm even doing it so everyone can see what everybody's doing. And it's actually a pretty neat process.
Sweet. I love it. What about you, Chris? What were you trying to solve for?
Handful of things. I was looking to buy back some of my time, but over the last couple of months, just seeing what other people are doing with AI, it, kind of inspired me. Said, okay, well, we should do this, or we should build that. Eventually got to a point where I was like, I know a guy who can do that, but everything's stuck in my head anyways, and it's gonna have to get relayed to somebody else. And what if I just became that guy and did this myself instead of relying on other people?
Love it. Yeah. And that's something that the diagnostic actually showed you. And now you're part of what we'll talk about is how you're using the diagnostic within your team. I was laughing because I met with another fellow on your team yesterday, and he's like, "Oh, I owe Chris the reports for the diagnostic," and I just chuckled because I'm like, "Oh, Did you know, Tim? I don't know if you knew, but Chris went and built personal diagnostics for his whole team now.
Oh, that's awesome.
It is.
Everybody should do that, right? I see that as part of your operating system.
Yeah. And so what were you trying to solve for, Tim? But you're pretty deep into AI, but like all the way along. And that's why I wanted you to come along.
Yeah. So probably 2 years. Like I've been embracing it, and the more I embraced it, the more I got into it. So I guess there was two reasons. A third of my reason was to learn more myself, right? And I learn well in a pure environment, right? I'm learning as much from everybody else in this room as I am from Dan, right? And so it provides that. Uh, the other thing that I wanted was, how do I incorporate this into my enterprise, right? So Tim is doing this, right? But how do I get my business to set this up? And what kind of security parameters do I put into it? How can I build my team out with this? And and that's really, my whole philosophy is, if I build my team, they build me. So what can we build in here with AI that facilitates that?
That's exciting. Thank you all for sharing that. Let's go around the horn again with this new question, round two. What did your diagnostics say about you, and what agents was it suggesting that you build, and how did that go? Robert, do you want to start us off?
Well, I'll try to remember back that far.
A lot has happened, I know.
Yeah, it's amazing. The first agent that I built was um, a weed identifier. So basically, I just take a picture of a weed in the field, and it goes through and identifies it off of the knowledge that I've had collected in data. I started that before the cohort, but the agents were able to fine tune it. So it's much more reliable now. And from there, I just need to organize my files. And I just built the agent to go ahead and do that, look at where the files were in all the different locations that I had it stored in, and it put it into 4 different categories. And it's amazing. Like, so now instead of me going to search all the different files to try and figure out where the information is, I just have the agent ask the agent a question, and it goes and finds it just that fast.
I remember you said, Dan, I don't like looking at myself. And I also remember a whole bunch of different conversations we had about things that are reflected back to you that you found useful in your communications, in your work. And we even had a moment where we had an exercise where we sent you, based on your personal operating diagnostic, a recommendation on how to organize your computer by folder based on who you are. And you did it on your hard drive and your external hard drive, and you went and looked at it and said, that makes a lot of sense. That's actually intuitive for me.
Yeah, actually, I didn't do it. I just said, let's get it done. And it did it.
Story of our lives now, which is kind of funny. And then when they don't do it right, you have words with them respectfully. Hey, Joe. Joe, what did you and Jamie both find out about each other as partners in your business, and romantic partners, I guess, as well?
So anyway, Mike Colby, I was a quick start 9 and a follow through 2. And
High fives,
anybody
brother.
that knows us know that anybody that knows us, we're exactly opposite on that one.
That works,
So
though.
I
I love
guess,
that.
yeah, sometimes, yeah. So anyway, my first agent was a no check layer. So it was like, it closes loops for me, because anybody that knows me knows I'll start something and I get about 90% there, and I get bored and I move on. So this kind of makes me check back in on it. And then another one is, this is more for, I think Jamie, was a ranch flight deck. And this will eventually do all our reporting, like financially, and we can pull reports from wherever we store our stuff. And then the other one is basically a sales playbook agent, and that's one we're working with Shay on. And that's actually been a really neat one, the reports we can pull with that. So it's actually amazing, the reports we pulled with that agent.
Exactly. This is a dream come true for salespeople. I wish I had all this technology back in the day. And I always thought that if we could just get rid of all this silly paperwork that holds salespeople back, we would be a lot more profitable. And here we are. Thanks, Joe. I appreciate it. It's fun to watch how you and Jamie are different and how you're progressing. And Jamie was really excited to get back to her job on Monday when she left Claude with a really big project on Friday night, which I was like, do you realize what you're saying? You actually want to go back to your job on Monday morning?
Yep.
Sweet. It's addictive. Chris, what did you get back and what were your agent recommendations from your brain?
Yeah, so my first agent was the knowledge transfer agent, and I think, like I mentioned on the onboard call, from 24 to 25 to now, 3 years of encyclopedias worth of just things that we're learning, but they're all stuck in my head or in my head or somebody else's head, and we got to get them on paper for everybody to whether it be onboarding docs or just things to just brush up on. Second one was research to paperwork, with the trials that we're doing, with the white papers that are being done around the world on this. It's not very fun to look at a 19-page, piece of research. So take this, put it into some words that I can understand and make sense of it.
Love it. Well, and we'll talk about some of the really innovative ways you've been using this with those agents and others that you're building. Tim, what was your eureka moment? You're always, you're on this self-awareness bandwagon like I am. And I appreciate that about you because not everybody endeavors to know things about themselves that maybe we don't want to know but you just eat this stuff up. This is your jam. Hey, what did you learn?
Yeah, this is my jam. And so what I learned, right, and I have been on this journey, and I've learned just a tremendous amount about myself and how I take action and what do I avoid, right? And so I think I've become pretty self-aware, but when you plug this in, my first agent wasn't something technical. It wasn't building a massive appraisal system or to provide, advice at the kitchen table, although that was the second one. The number one thing that it built for me was how to have a hard conversation. And, what it did is it figured out that that's my limitation right now. And I don't struggle with hard conversations between buyer and seller or negotiating for people. It's when it relates to me and my emotions are involved, right? And then my shadow behaviors, because I'm a 9/7, right? I love peace and harmony and I'm positive, but my shadow behavior is I avoid stuff like this. And now that I'm aware of it, right, we built this AI tool to help me do this, right? And part of it is even kind of rehearsing it and breaking it down. So what's really interesting about that is to help me to get to the next level. This is the capability I need to conquer first.
Elaine Fraser, are you hearing that? Would you like to co-create on building a hard conversation tool for all the farmers in Western Canada? Elaine is saying at Tim, mediation skills in Winnipeg will be your best friend in gaining skills to have hard conversations and do great mediation. We all need that going forward. And that's part of getting that $50 billion down the tube is us not, fighting with our non-farming siblings. Just take care of your non-farming siblings and everything will be cool. Harry Seaman says, I have used AI for the past 3 years and more, and I'm amazed at how far I've come and how it is helping me every day and throughout the day. And I know that your the little gospels that you send me every day are being shared by that very method, and I appreciate that. I'm careful how wide I talk about it because there are still many doubters. And I think there's some shame associated with this because there's so much vitriol about this. And of course, there's concerns and there's right to be doubtful and skeptical, but some really interesting, opposition to this. But I feel you there. So, but I'll always answer truthfully and carefully when people ask me about whether I use AI. And of course, we're sharing broadly and proudly here, and you can see the quality of people on the panel here. So how do your panelists handle the use of AI with the general public? Does anybody want to speak to that? Like, are you getting some pushback or is there some shame with being a heavy AI user? Does anybody want to jump in on that?
Yeah, I can.
I'm just getting lots of questions
Good.
about what it looks like. I know
Nobody's
the
egged your
first three
house yet.
weeks I couldn't. The first 3 weeks I couldn't explain it, but I'm getting closer to being able to explain it now. So
It's hard to put
yeah,
into words. Who
it's
else has
just
some?
a little.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Joe.
Yeah,
That's good that it's been positive. Robert, you had a comment?
yeah. I deal with all kinds of people in different aspects of my life. Uh, whether it's on the Chamber of Commerce or whether it's in my church group or my clients. And there's always those people that say, well, I'll never touch AI. And the one that resonated with me the most is when I was talking to my 14-year-old grandson, and he made the comment, Grandpa, AI and old men just don't go together. And my comeback right away was, that's exactly who needs it. Because the older I get, it's like filling your computer up, your hard drive gets to a certain point and then it loses stuff. That's where I am in life now. My hard drive's just about full. And when my hard drive crashes, then they'll put me away in an institute someplace so I can be taken care of. This allows me to be able to take that data and have it for generations.
Well, I respect too that we can have different beliefs and be respectful of them. Elaine is saying, "Wow, grandson, respect your elder." Maybe Elaine needs to come over with the bull and facilitate this conversation with your grandson. Elaine is saying, "Protect your IP and your security of IP." That's definitely something we talk about. And there's a whole thing I don't want to get into today. I think there's lots more topics we could unpack about AI. I don't want to get too off track today, but security, IP. We do sign a confidentiality agreement in the cohort, and our agents are also trained never, ever, 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 especially as they get doing more on the front stage without me. And I know it because my co-creators are sending me emails and text messages that I know is them, but it's the agents on behalf of them. Nothing confidential goes front stage ever is what we endeavored. Not that it's perfect. I've got plenty of human beings in my life, including myself, that make mistakes. But Tim,
And
did you have
yeah,
a comment on the
I
AI thing?
do. Yeah, like as it relates to kind of clients. And so we are more and more recording our conversations kind of with our clients. And we ask them for their permission. Are they comfortable with that? And so we record it, we transcribe it. We take that transcription, run it through a framework, right? And then kind of produce like a report to send back to them. And we get this little bit of, really, you're kind of doing that? Yeah, that's no problem. And then when we end up sending them the output, they're like, oh my goodness, this came out of our conversation. Yes, it came out of our conversation with our framework applied over top of it. And so they're like, yeah, this is great. So there is a little hesitation, but I think they're receptive. But as soon as you produce something for them in conjunction with your own framework, they're like, oh yeah, I see the value in this.
I appreciate that perspective, and I also do that, and I feel like it's serving myself and the clients incredibly well. And Elaine is saying, recorded conversations are being used with permission to share intel with other team advisors. This is really helping speed up transition and process. On the IP thing, I don't want to get too off track here, but when I say co-creator, that isn't some fuzzy wuzzy new age term, although it can easily be adopted for such. We are physically going to be working with people at Growing the Future to bring their unique abilities, their talents, their expertise, their brain, their understanding of workflows, their personality to people in Western Canadian agriculture and maybe beyond. And that's the beauty of what we're doing, whether it's agronomy, green marketing, financial. Eventually, that's all going to be part of the process. And there's people in this cohort, and the next, and the next, and the next that will be facilitating that growth together. And I mean that. And that's really exciting because if we can get people like Tim and Wade and, in the real estate world, and Chris in entrepreneurial, and Joe in the farming world, and Robert in agronomy, and give the machines context, we are going to be winning on another level. That's what I want for all farms to succeed into the future. What's really fun is the stories that come out of this, which are interesting, shocking, amusing, awe-inducing, I would say. So let's go around the horn here again And I'd love to hear some questions too from folks in the chat and the Q&A. This is your chance to ask folks in a safe place. Of course, it is on the internet, but what do you want to know from them about their experience or what their thoughts are on AI? But Robert, you had some really interesting stories. You were trying to figure out, I think the reseeding numbers on gopher fields, and you're hooking stuff up to technology. Yesterday, you told me you mentioned somebody by the name of Harriet, and I was going to ask who Harriet is, but I think I have an idea. So maybe you want to tell us about some of your adventures with AI and how you're making money with it. Make money.
Yeah, well, that's part of this. That's not the main reason why I got into this, is the money part, but it is a perk. So I was talking to a client while I was out scouting the field, and we noticed some gopher damage, and he says, "Okay, across my fields, is it worth reseeding? What do you see?" And my first reaction was, it's probably about 200 acres over a 10,000 acre farm that we've got to, maybe do some reseeding. And so I said, but before we make a decision, let me run it through some AI and get some satellite imagery, real satellite imagery, and find out different levels of damage on the field through the satellite imagery, run it through an agent. It figured out 3 different variations of damage and compiled it. And out of the 10,000 acres that I figured there'd be 200 acres that we could probably reseed, we got down to 30 acres that was bare ground that could have been reseeded. And we just decided, 30 acres, it's probably not worth dragging a machine all the way out to that field to take care of it. Yeah, there's going to be a yield drag, but the cost of dragging a seeder out to do that 30 acres was more than what we would gain by reseeding it. So we left it alone. And your other question about Harriet. So Harriet is my master agent. She takes care of all the other 11 agents that I've created. She took a deep dive into my personality and puts that into everything that goes into any decision that any agent comes up with a solution. So it's me that's actually verifying, or she's actually verifying what I would say in that situation. And I have to prove everything before anything goes out to anybody, and where it lies and how it builds rules around decisions that are made. So it is phenomenal what it's saving me in time in a day. A good example is I'm out scouting fields for 14 to 16 hours in a day. I used to try and come home and compile it and give a summary to my clients at the end of the day. It just wasn't happening. I just exhausted, tired, it wouldn't happen. So I'd have a conversation. I'd forget half the stuff that I scouted. Now, before I leave the field, I open up my laptop, tell it to do a summarization and prepare the email. By the time I get home, it's ready. I just have to send it and it's done. So my clients are getting a lot better report than I could ever do without it.
I love that. I was hoping the piano would start playing in there. I just almost brings tears to my eyes to hear about Harriet, the agents taking care of other agents and helping you and helping your clients. And I'm so passionate about agronomists being in this course, Robert. You can see the value, and especially as company as a one. I think we're all, we can benefit from this technology. So thanks for that, Joe.
The other thing, just
go
before
ahead.
I leave that,
Go.
This morning I thought, I've got Harriet, but who is Harriet? So I told her to go find all my agents and give them a last name and give me a job description of what they do. And so that's what she's doing right now.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, it is actually very helpful to make them human. ish. So Joe, on Jamie's saying the organization of all our business documents is drastically improved using AI, and this is Jamie, Joe's wife in the cohort. More organized, and it is happening in real time. I often do my farm work late at night or early mornings. This has allowed me to stay on top of everything in real time. That's been fun. Hey, Joe?
Yeah, I think she's at the lake right now. She doesn't have to bring her paperwork anywhere with her.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I think it's made a really big difference for her. I think one neat story is that just all the connections you could make like in the program. So like we use Op Center or whatever, and I finally got it where I could pull all of our data out of there and make a report that looks like I wrote it and give it to everybody. And I just sent it this morning to a couple of our team here, and it's pretty cool to report it. Because last night at about 11, I just told it, go in there and make the most detailed report you can make that Shay and Drew would appreciate. And what was waiting for me this morning was unbelievable detail. It was really, really neat.
And you saved a little bit of money on a deal, farm equipment deal, maybe?
Yeah, so we were looking at switching out our combines. So we just took the deals that we had in front of us and we took our financial statements and then kind of our acres right off of what basically the acres came out of the op center too. And I'm like, tell us if we need to do this. Tell us if we have enough combine power if we do this. And so then I've made kind of an advisory board and I've started giving them personalities now too. And that advisory board just came back. Like there's a devil's advocate one, and there's like a financial one, and there's an operations one. And yeah, like literally they were arguing about what the best thing to do was. So it was pretty cool.
So capable of helping make big, important decisions and take that weight off of you.
Well,
Congratulations,
that
though.
for me, I'm like, I make decisions very emotionally. And what I found maybe that this can do in the future is it will slow me down and not make decisions so emotionally.
You and me, brother. I hear you. I feel you. Chris, you've got a lot of amazing stories, but I love what you did with your team. You're building personal operating diagnostics. You had a great HR example about how you're dealing with somebody in their own way, fruitfully based on this.
Yeah, no, well, I guess going back to when we got started, when you sent me mine, um it was a weird feeling reading it because like, wow, this is exactly who I am. And it didn't take long to realize like, well, I need to do this for every single person, on the team. And it kind of got the agent to build a team map from there, like where everybody fits in different personality structures. But like you were saying, there was one instance where had to have a conversation, and my instinct tells me, well, this is the way it needs to be framed, and then I look at the diagnostic, and I'm like, no, this is the way I got to do it, and it landed perfectly.
It's fun. Yeah, it really helps. It's like WD-40 for relationships, I would say. Um, that's really cool. And Tim, what do you think is a fun story in your world? You're kind of describing yourself as a bottleneck in your business, and there's a whole bunch of different things. But what do you think comes to mind most when you think about a fun story with AI?
Fun story. I actually, my experience is very similar to Chris, and just and like I do use it to communicate with people in different ways, right? Because they have different profiles, they have different tendencies, and so you can create the kind of message that's going to land with them. You need to say certain things to certain people in a certain way, and it'll land with them, right? And so I can have a message and I want to distribute that to 10 different people. There's 10 different messages which can go out. And I mean, you do that, Dan, right, with us. And so I think that is so incredible because it removes a lot of friction and misunderstandings and what ifs. So that's one cool story. And the other one is like we can use it for tactical, kind of kind of to-dos, right? And so I was explaining the other day to one of my, team members is, look, you are going to move from being a doer to a director, right? And so we just hired a bunch of agents to work for you, right? But you need to get these agents kind of working, and then you can direct them, right? And so it reframes what their role is, right? And I actually think everybody in the world at some point, not maybe everybody, but I think a lot of people are gonna have to move to being thinkers, directors instead of just doers, because we're gonna find ways for AI just to do the heavy lifting. So I think that's pretty cool. And then the third one I would say is just in the strategic thinking, right? As we're, our whole, philosophy is moving towards strategy first, right? You do the strategy, that's the 90% heavy lift. The delivering, the going to market, that's the easy part, right? And so we built these strategic blueprints where after a discovery session with the client, right, we drill down, we build them a blueprint, which provides them, options, right? Here's where you're at right now, and here's your options going forward. And so with AI, I mean, we can just rapidly run different scenarios, right? And I had one where, this farm, it was 8 quarters average land in an average area, right? And land values are just going sideways there. And they're thinking about selling the yard site away from the rest of it, but yet it's connected to the rest of it. And so, I run my analysis. Okay, if they do that at this price, the adjoining quarters are going to drop by probably 15% because you're losing some of your enterprise value, right? What if land values go sideways or even drop for 2% a year in the next 5 years, right? And if you sold all of it right now, you could get so much out of an investment as opposed to the rent that you're getting right now. So calculate the difference in 5 years, and it comes up with a number, right? And it's just incredible. And so you don't tell people what to do, but you get people what to think. You give them options to consider. So just the strategy part of it is just incredible. And yeah, I have so many wins. I got to stop.
Do we need 90 minutes, Tim? Oh,
I could use them, but it's
know.
marginal diminishing returns,
well, let's
right?
keep doing it. And reminder, folks, we're only 30 days into the 90-day sprint. Like, it's week 6, which is officially, building your first agent based on your workflows. But Elaine Frey says people still make decisions, but now they have many perspectives to consider. Amen. And strategic coach is shining through here, Dan. I make it no secret that I am a disciple of strategic coach and EOS. And that is what a lot of you're going to experience coming into this course. And I don't coach the tools per se, but it's a framework that we use. And very proud to share that with people that haven't been to those rooms, because it's exceptional, not only professionally, but personally. We're getting close to the top of the hour. If you have any questions, please get them in. But we're going to start wrapping this up. One last round the room on, as I said, we're only a third of the way through the journey here. I've only been using the tools I've been using for 2 months now, and I've always used AI, but you've just been using it for a month. Where do you think this is going? Where do you see yourself getting through the cohort? Where do you want to take it? Do we want to maybe do a reverse round here? Tim, do you want to go first on this one? We'll go around the horn counterclockwise on this one.
So where do I want to take it from here? Sorry.
Yep. Yeah. Where do you see it going in the next 90 days, 6 months, a year, 3 years, 10 years? As far out as you want to go.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it is just changing so rapidly, right? And I think if you are a growth oriented person, you gotta be embracing this on a day-to-day basis, right? And so I just think the opportunities are going to be amazing. I could see software disappearing entirely in 5 to 7 years because AI can just crunch all of this stuff for you, right? And so you think about that, right? And the potential there. So I mean, what I think is, like, I got to be in this day in, day out to stay on top of it and to keep my edge, right? But it's not just keeping my edge, is to find the opportunities to solve more problems and capitalize on more, stuff. So I'm sorry, my energy is just
Oh,
draining out here. Yeah.
well, no, and every time we talk, we get all pumped up
Yeah.
about everything.
Yeah.
I enjoy that. Chris, where do you see it going in the company? Like, it's hard to imagine even 90 days, 6 months, a year, thinking your 10-year EOS vision. Like, where's it going for you?
You know, in the next 3 months, I think slow down a little bit. My aha moment with this was one morning when I woke up and couldn't sleep, and that morning I created my first agent that actually did a job for me, and it was a serial number reconciliation agent. And between myself and a couple other people in the team, it's about, every quarter we do it. It's 8 to 12 hours of work between the three of us, and just thought, well, what if AI can do this? And spent a little bit of time pointing it this direction, pulling from here, and it nailed it on the first try. It got everything exactly right. And so from there, I was like, well, I'm going to build agents for other people on my team. Like we have a transition upcoming where our bookkeeper is going on maternity leave, and then a lot of her duties are shifted to another team member, and that sin reconciliation is one of them. And so it's like, yeah, we got a trainer to do that. I said, well, no, I'm sure a trainer, but I got an agent that's going to do it from now on. And then just taking that and talking to this team member. Well, no, what if I can get you 6, 8, 10 hours of your week back to do something else? And that's what I want to be building over the next 3 months.
I love how people answer the question differently based on their wiring. Tim and Chris are very different people. And the course literally compensates for that by individualizing it for everybody based on their pod. But thank you for that, Chris. I appreciate it. And Joe, what about you? Where do you see this going for the farm and for you and Jamie?
For me, I see it as a way to capture all the information for whoever takes this place over. And I think what I'm starting to see is now I think this is a way to build a roadmap that in the future someone can look back and see where we've come from and what we've done to get to this point. So I think for us, it's going to capture everything we need to for the next generation. That's what I want.
Awesome. Well, we're going to do it together. Robert, where do you see this going?
Well, 30 days ago, it was total different answer than what it is today. 30 days ago, I thought, well, if I can just get it so that I have some free time in the winter instead of pouring over soil reports, that's what I want to happen. Today, I want to build something that is generational. I want to be able to build an organization of agents that will help future generations not do it the way I did it, but do it in their own way that will benefit humankind throughout the world for generations to come. Big, huge dreaming. What it did is it took me from looking at in 3 years to step away from everything and just try and figure out what I'm going to do with the rest of my life, to re-energize me to what I felt like when I was in my 30s, that there is a future out there. I have a lot more to contribute to society than I have done up to this point. And I can do this over the next 6 months faster than I did in 67 years. That's my vision of what this AI can do for somebody like myself.
Wow. I'm honored to be on that journey with you, my friend. It's exciting for you and everybody in the room, and it's good that we can dream big. Yeah, this is awesome. So Harry Siemens has got a great story in the Q&A about a friend using it with his health. In the interest of time, I'm just going to tell everybody to take a look at that. Evan Schmidt is asking, how do I get started using AI? I would like to start using it to streamline my agronomy business. Talk to Robert. Robert, I'm sure you'd be happy to give some advice on that. Go to YouTube.
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
Dan, that's my agronomist. I was telling him yesterday he's going to get on board with this.
Well, Evan, Get in the cohort. The link's right there. Fill out the form. Are you kidding? Let's get going here, man. Cohort number 2. So yeah, we got to wrap it up. I have another meeting at the top of the hour, and I appreciate everybody's time here. But cohort 2 starts Tuesday, August 4th. It's 8 to 12 seats. You know, we want it to be an intimate room. It's less than half a work week of your life. It's crazy when you think about that. And in 1 month, these people are where they are at. So, you know, there's a money back guarantee. It's $2,250 US just because of school. I use the school platform. There's a community there, a classroom there. You get all the transcripts, you get all the recordings. If you miss anything, that's no problem. I do I love doing the one-on-ones with everybody as much as possible. I'm so excited to help people and see what they're building. And yeah, we're about half full for the second course. So you know, here's the vision of what's happening here. The course is real. I started out building a course, but let's be real, the room is the thing. And we've got an amazing community of creators here. You saw it here today. And that's what's on the table, is co-creating not only with me, but the folks that you meet in the room. So I want to thank each and every one of you that attended today. You're part of my tribe, and I want to bring you closer and work closer with you. And I want to thank each and every one of you that took time out of your day. You all are high value, high functioning people to come on here and give of your time today. You know, the collective net worth, not only monetarily, but of, you know, intellectual horsepower and the things that you guys are doing in the world. And I hope that we're all thinking bigger together now. I know my vision is getting much bigger. And I want to say that for anybody who's wondering where to take their business in the future, there's a yellow brick road in this machinery, because it helps you with all that decision making, doesn't it? I think everybody's experiencing that. How do I grow my business? When the machine knows enough about you, it starts to translate that for you. And that's the journey I'm on. I want everybody to come on it with me. I put the links in the chat. All you got to do is fill out the form. I'll take a meeting with you. We're getting started once again, and it's going to be super exciting. If you know somebody who needs to hear this, please share it with them. And if you go to growingthefuture.ca, you'll find it all there. So thank you, everybody. Robert Woolf is saying, I learned more today than I did before we started. 9:57 That's the whole idea. So I appreciate every one of you. Have a great weekend, and we will see you at Ag in Motion and Field of Stars. You better be there. Right? So high fives, everybody. Love you. And we'll see you on the next rodeo here. Thanks to the panelists. I appreciate you guys. Take care. We'll see you on Monday, I guess.
Dan, can I put a plug in for you?
Please do.
Yeah. I signed up for the AI, but what I got was a better way of thinking. Man, this isn't just about AI. It's about the strategy. And if I can put a plug into anybody who's thinking about this and they're on the fence, it's not just the AI. It's a better way of thinking.
Thanks, Tim. You'll have to build a virtual Tim so I can put him in every single cohort going forward with your positivity and energy and great hair.
Yeah, like the other thing about it too, and I fought with this when I signed up, and you know, it's, did I have the time? And then you think deeper about it, like, well, that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
You got to slow down to speed up. Joe, did you have any final words?
Yeah, like, as you know, the first day we started, I had to phone you and ask where I could find my files. And I don't have to do that anymore. So yeah, it's really opened up our world. It's shocking what this can do. And I think the best part for me is this cohort is just seeing, like, everybody kind of wants something a little different, but in the end, we all want the same thing. We want to pass knowledge on, and I think lots of us are using that to do this.
Well, don't stop talking to me just because you don't know where you know. Now you know where your files are. Like, make sure to stay in touch, you know, like and Robert, anything that you would say? I know there was actually some folks on here that, you know, that were thinking about coming in the course. What would you say to them?
Don't hesitate. Jump in, both feet. You will never regret it. It's almost life-changing. So it is life-changing.
Robert, we've talked about you coming into cohort 2 and helping out a bit too in mentoring, because that's, I think, what you're really passionate about. So I think we're going to see a lot of people helping other people out of this whole thing.
Yeah, and these connections don't end after 90 days. They're going to continue on.
Awesome. Oh, my heart is full. My cup is full. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. And yeah, we'll see you on Monday. We'll see you at Ag in Motion. We'll see you at Field of Stars, and we'll keep co-creating the future here together.